Hey everyone, how's it going? So what we're going to do now is work on styling this middle section. We've done the navbar style. What we'll do is make this look a little bit nicer. But what we'll do first is add the pug code that will give us this top title bar right here. So it's real simple. What we're going to do is go to the main section container. And we're just going to add two lines. It's just going to be a dot title container, so a title container div, and then inside of that we're going to put an h1, which is a heading element, and then we will put the page title in there. So page title like that, which is given to us from the payload. You'll see we have this page title right here, so that's where that comes from. And the main layout, that's where we want, and that's it really, just those two lines. So let's go back and refresh the page, and we now get the page title there. Happy days. Alright, let's first get rid of this blue background from the middle part. So let me move this across a bit more. Hopefully you can see this a bit better. I'll even resize that a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, let's get rid of the blue background first. So let's do, where is it? Where do we have that? Right here at the bottom. So get rid of the blue background, but keep this main section container code. We are going to keep that because we're going to add some style to that now. So if I go to the Elements tab and find that main section container instead, you'll see it comes with some padding. You see the green part. If I hover over it, where is it here? Yeah, you'll see on the right here, you'll see a green part, which is the padding. So let's get rid of the padding that comes by default. I'm wondering if I should make this down here instead. Maybe it's easier for you to see that way. So yeah, we'll do that. In the main section container style, we're going to say padding is going to be 0. So it gets rid of that. We're then going to add a little border to it. So we'll say border left is going to be 1px solid, and then the color is going to be a light gray color we have, but we're going to define that in a variable. So what we need to do is go to our roots part. So you can do that by clicking the sources tab to take us to our CSS file, or you can click on the link that's right here. There's a link which tells you where the style comes from. So if I click that, it will take us to the sources tab in that file. But yeah, we'll scroll up to the top and we'll define a new color here. This is going to be light gray. Now this is going to be the same color we use for all of the borders on our site pretty much. Well, all the borders at least for the page elements. I've got the color right here. Now I have it written down here as an RGB element, so I don't know why it's not a hex element, but that's okay. We use an RGB color here. It's the same thing. We're going to say 230, 236, and then finally 240. So this gives us a light grey colour. So the RGB is the red, green, and blue values. So let's go ahead and use this colour now. So I'm copying the light grey colour. We'll scroll down to where we just set the border. So we set 1px solid, and then afterwards I'll do a space and put that colour in there. Oh, actually, I need the var keyword, so var, and in parentheses, then we'll put that. And you can see a very subtle border right there. That's what we want, just a real subtle border, so you can see that I've got it right there. It's just a little divider. But anyway, we also want to repeat that on the right as well, so I'll copy that line, paste it below, and change border left to border right. So now we have it on this side too. We'll then set display to flex. And then flex direction is going to be column, so they all stack on top of each other. We may as well carry on here and do the next item as well. So this will be the title container element. Now this is the element we just added, the this one right here, title container. It's the div that surrounds the h1 tag. So we're going to set the height of this. Height is going to be 53 pixels. We're then going to say padding is going to be padding is going to be 0 on the top and bottom, but the left and right is going to have a little bit of padding. So if I go back to my site, you can see we've got some padding right here. Now this gap you're seeing, this little space between the border and the text, is kind of a consistent gap we're going to use all over. So even the spaces you're seeing here, the spaces you see between the button there, it's all the same gap. And the way we've done that is we've defined a variable which holds this spacing value. So let's go up to the top, and we're going to declare a value in here called spacing. Now you don't have to only specify colors in here, you can specify any values at all as CSS variables. So spacing for us is going to be 15 pixels. So now, anywhere we want that space, to make sure it's consistent across the whole site, we can just use this variable. So we're going to use 0 on the top and bottom, and then we're going to say var dash dash spacing, like that. Okay, and it's added the spacing to the left and right. If I hover over it, where's the element? It's in here. If I hover over it, you'll see the green part on the left and right up here. Okay, so that's the spacing. So I'll click this link to go back to where we were. Now, we want to center this text vertically, so what we're going to do is say display flex here, because remember, if you want to center things, oops, I've done that wrong, I need a colon there. If you need to center things, display flex is kind of the most convenient way to do it. And then we'll just say align items is going to be center. Okay, and you probably didn't notice, but it did move just a little bit, so it did go into the center. Alright, we're then going to do another border, so border dash bottom is going to be 1px solid, and then the same as above, var dash dash light grey. So we've got that same colour. You can see how it matches the colour of those borders too. Now if you really wanted, you could go and store this whole thing in a variable, this whole 1px solid part, but I think this is okay for us. Now, there's one more thing we need to do, and this is to fix a bug in Safari. We're going to say flex shrink is going to be 0. Now, just put that there. It basically stops this collapsing when using Safari. If we didn't have that, in Safari, this would just squash up. It would have no height. Do you know how long it took me to find the solution to this issue? Oh, man, it took me ages. So, most of you probably aren't using Safari, so you won't be able to verify this, but just make sure you put this in there. It helps address an edge case in Safari, okay? So, yeah, make sure you got that. All right, we'll style one more thing, and that's just going to be the title container h1, and this will just be one line in here. It will just be flex 1. So the reason we've done that is so that if I hover over it, you'll see, if I go to the title container, if I click on the element right here, you'll see that the width of it is stretched all the way across. And we're doing this because later on in the course we're going to add a button there. In fact, maybe I can show you actually right here. If I go to, I don't know where has it, the notification button, you'll see we've got buttons here, and the message button right here, we've got a button. So we will be putting a button on there eventually, but this flex 1 just makes the h1 take up all the remaining width it has. So yeah, that's why we're doing that. And I've actually just noticed that this text is giant, so actually let's fix that real quick. I did say that was the last thing, but let's just address this real quick. We're going to scroll up to the top and do it because this is a semantic element. We're just going to style all h1 tags like that rather than any with a class. And we're just going to say font size is going to be 19 pixels. There we go, that's much better already. Font weight is going to be, weight is going to be 800. So that's the thickness. Font weight is the thickness of the font. And then we'll do a margin of 0 as well, because h1 tags do come with a default margin, and we're just overriding that and saying no margin. So that's it. We got all our style, but before you go, make sure you remember to copy all this code across, because like I said, if you refresh the page, it's gone. So yeah, I've copied that across just to make sure it worked. I'm going to refresh the page here and make sure I'm still seeing that. And yeah, that's it. That's a good start. We've got this nice title container above now.